listening to AchieveRadio.com. A new drummer for a new awakening.
This is Ann Marie. Were you there? Did you watch the debates yesterday? Well, if you were like millions of other people and were able to catch some of the Democratic debates yesterday on October 13th, you probably got a chance to see Bernie and Hillary and all the other guys. I did not see Biden there, so I guess that's maybe his message to us. There was evidently a strange man in a Santa Claus suit that was in the audience who had long white hair and a big stuffed T-shirt on, and they thought perhaps it might be Biden dressed up watching. I'm not sure, but they thought it was somebody that was relevant, and it was all just really, really cool. I have decided, as you know, I want to tell everybody I am married to a Republican redneck. So as a liberal, I find that I can tell you with an open mind that whoever ends up president is going to be just fine with me. But I am for the Hillary-Bernie team. I'd like to see a Hillary president with Bernie as vice president. I listed that on Facebook today and was told that absolutely not. It could never happen. Bernie would never allow that to happen because Hillary's into the big money people. But on the other hand, Hillary is a bit anal, whereas Bernie is, very out there. And I think together they could be just enough complementary opposites to make it come together. But that's my opinion, and I'm sticking with it. And I think my husband is probably for Trump. So you can imagine we have a lot of lively discussions in our house. Did you know, are you a houseplant addict? If you're a houseplant addict like I am, you probably have invested in all of the same kind of different essential oils and things like that to make your house smell fragrant in a healthy way. If you're a health nut, if you like healthy, clean air, and you're investing all kinds of gadgets and all kinds of essential oils, which I use as well, did you know that houseplants can remove airborne toxins? That's right, and especially there are a few like the spider plant. It clears the benzene, carbon monoxide from the air. The lady palm, good general air purifier. The snake plant clears the formaldehyde in the air. The fiscus takes away the good, and it creates this good general air purification to the air. And there's one I'm not familiar with, but I'm going to have to check it out. And it's called Golden Potos, Pothos, and it clears also the VOCs in the air. And those are just some of the common plants that a lot of us may have, like aloe clears formaldehyde and benzene. The orchid clears formaldehyde. The dwarf pygmy palm clears all of those things too. So, when next time you walk into your house and you're realizing you're spending hundreds of dollars on air purifiers as well as, like me, essential oils, you might want to think about putting a great big giant spider plant in your windows, hang them from the ceilings. Make sure that those plants have give you plenty of space. If they're crowding you out, well, nobody wants to deal with that. It's hard enough to get cabin fever for many of us. But the most important thing is that while an open window may feel like all the fresh air you need, did you know that anything from toilet paper to common household cleaners can contain chemicals and release toxins like formaldehyde? And the VOCs, like benzene, can be released into the air by everything from the paint on your walls to the printed material found in your house. So why not breathe a bit easier and enjoy the beauty of a new house plant or 2 or 50 as I have? And, just knowing that you're doing yourself a great favor. And don't be so harsh on that person that you think is maybe perhaps a little too much into houseplants, and our houseplants really in style and all that. Well, if you like clean air, then, honey, they're in style. So, one of the things I wanted to talk about today also was radical acceptance. And it is not the attitude of, oh, well. No, radical acceptance is something much cooler. And it's basically the acknowledgement of realities you would never choose, like the death of a loved one, or the breakup, or a verdict of cancer, or something like a neighbor that has done something that has really angered you. Radical acceptance is more about the attitude of not allowing yourself to go into bitterness, but instead in dealing with your own anger. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't solutions or that you shouldn't get a message reading or things like that when you're in distress, but radical acceptance, let that be a term in your life, radical acceptance. And we'll go more into that as well as maybe some stories. And I'm going to ask any callers or inquick people that may be around, do you have a house plant? And I will give you a funny story. When I first met my husband, it was at a plant where we were both working at. And he was quite a bit younger than me. And I spent a lot of time saying, like a lot of women that are older than the men that they get involved in, honey, you go on, I'm older than you, blah, blah, blah. And he was fresh out of the service. And he said, that stuff doesn't bother me and it doesn't matter. And from there, I guess I accepted it as well. And I wasn't long, maybe 2 or 3 months, and he moved in with his barbells and a lawn philodendron named Frank. Now, Frank the philodendron has since had babies, and all of Frank the philodendron's children are all cascading on our curtain rods and on the gates in my gardens. Millions and millions of descendants of Frank the philodendron that moved in with my ex-husband. We got married my husband when we got married 2 years after we started to be together and procreate philodendrons. We never had children, but we did procreate philodendrons. So perhaps I'm a good person to be telling you about the wonders and the coolness of having a house full of house plants. All right, I'm going to play, and I'm going to have Mr. Bill, if he will, play a little bit of music while I get into the studio and find and see if there's anybody in there that I can connect with. Mr. Bill, will you please play some Native American music, if you will? Thank you. Thank you. That was very cool. I enjoyed that music very, very much. And I want to say hello to Anita from Arizona and Debbie from Pennsylvania. And thank you, Mr. Bill, for playing that music. I have, again, some, if you would like to call in for a reading today, then I invite you to call 602 666 6027. That's 602 666 6027. And I will be happy to be able to give you some guidance today on your life situation. So today, I think that we'll start with Debbie from Pennsylvania. Hello, Debbie. How are you today?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. What's going on in Debbie's world today?
Nothing much. Just anything that you want to touch on, I'd be appreciative.
All right, Deb. And so looking at what comes up around Debbie's uh, life and energy right now. And when I look at that, what comes through, Deb says gratitude, trust, go with the flow, and stop focusing on the boogers in life.
Okay.
So it says that right now the main thing is you are a person that resonates with huge gratitude. And, I think that when you're positive, Deb, you're like a little beacon of light. And also when you're angry, it probably scares the crap out of people. So my sense is that um, people want to make sure that they make you happy and make sure as much as possible that you don't go inside your head and start to get
Okay.
paranoid or start to get start to analyze people too much, because what that'll do is take the happy Deb away and start to put the angry Deb
Okay.
on her face. And what
Okay.
happens then is that you may notice that the flow that you used to have, as you begin to analyze and perhaps start to really feel like you are questioning people's intentions, you need to watch out that you don't actually create it.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so with that, if I look at anything that comes through a little more in depth about that, Deb, and looking at that, and what comes through on a little more depth says, at this particular time, it says you have been feeling a little like you're on the outside looking in at work. It says that you need to understand that you are a really together woman. And really together women tend to be women that can both be the women, the people. It doesn't have to be women. It can be the people that make people want to give them all kinds of responsibilities. And at first, really together women like that, but then it starts to feel like a ripoff. And then,
Okay.
so it says, be careful of doing too much too soon. And then
Okay.
finding that people keep dumping more and more in your lap. Your
Okay.
reading also says, and I don't know why, have you been having a little bit of upsets lately about you these days, Deb? Because it says you've been either someone may have hurt your feelings, or there's been a little bit of hurt going on inside you. What's going on with that?
My mom kind of hurt me a little bit. I asked her to help me with some bills, and she told me she couldn't. And then I see her doing things for other people, and it kind of hurt
Uh,
me. And then her birthday came up, and I was like, well, I'm not going to do anything. But I said, well, I'm not going to be mean. You only get one mom. But it just hurt
right,
me that you can't help me, but you help everybody else.
right. Yeah, well, you know what radical acceptance, that what I just spoke about, Deb?
Mhm.
Radical
Mhm.
radical acceptance is just saying, it's not saying, oh well, but it's saying, you know, I have two ways to look at things. I can
Mhm.
really hang on to this situation and get angry and mad,
Uh huh. Uh
or
huh.
I can accept it and say, the real problem is my how I react to this.
Right.
And
Right. Right.
I would
Right.
say, choose to react in a positive way instead of a negative way.
Okay. Right. Right.
And
Right. I've been feeling that. Mhm.
and it says that's your power. That is your greatest
Yes.
power at work. That is your greatest power in relationships, knowing that if you choose, again, it says when Debbie is mad, she can scare the crap out of people. But when Debbie is happy, she brings things like a magnet to her. So lastly, I'm going to say, just be cautious of allowing yourself to do too much too soon for people, just because it feels good to have that responsibility, but then find yourself feeling ripped off. Go slow,
Yes.
go smooth, and be cool.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, Deb. Take care.
You too. Bye bye now.
Bye. All right, we're going to go to Jan from LA. And how are you, Janny?
Hi, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Miss Jan. What's up today?
I just have a question. Did you see a new job coming in for me? I was told something is kind of be coming up soon. I'm presently working, but hoping this new thing comes up soon. Do you see anything out there?
Well, first of all, let me look at energetically what comes up around you, Miss Jan, and then I sure will, okay? So if I look at what, and if I look at where is your energy at these days concerning work, life, and everything in between, it says you've been feeling invisible. It says that for whatever reason, maybe it's because you are not making, you want the work, but then there's another part of you that doesn't want the work. So you're kind of pushing and pulling that work desire towards you. Your reading also says that at this particular time, that you have all the ability to get a job. There should be no reason you cannot get a job. But it says you have to learn to, I think an old hypnosis trick that I used to use. If you're like me, I used to absolutely hate physicals. And just the thought of going to a doctor was a pain for me because I would just hate it. So when I have a situation that I really dislike, what I do is I calm myself first. And I start out from the minute I get up in bed in the morning, and I visualize myself getting dressed, getting out the door, getting in the car, driving to the doctor, and then playing a real fast, play in my head of the appointment. That I get back in my car, get my clothes back on, get back in my car, drive back to my house, and get inside the house. And I go fast forward so many times that I'm just sick to death of thinking about it. By the time I played that scenario in my head, maybe the seventh time, I'm thinking, okay, been there, done that, I'm ready. So maybe if you're having a rough time with visualizing yourself at a job because you're feeling the frustration that the joblessness is out there, start to change the vision in your head by some of that hypnotherapy. And self-hypnosis would be relax yourself. Imagine that you're getting in your car, or they're getting dressed in the morning. You're walking to your car, getting in your car, and you're driving to a job to apply. You imagine that going through the interview. Going back to the interview, you don't have to do detail on it. Get back in your car, go home, and get inside your house. Play that over and over, about 7 times. And if you've had any reservations or any paranoias or any tired frustrations about looking for a job, and you know you got to get out there more and look, but you're getting aggravated, if you just get your list of jobs you want to apply for and go through that little hypnotherapy, then I am sure that you will be able to make it a more positive experience, and a positive experience will bring the work to you faster.
Okay, I was just told that something was coming up in a few months. Do you see that happening for me? I mean, I was told it was coming up.
Okay. So looking at when will you find work, and I not only have in a couple months, I have this month or next month. I don't see any like I just told you, I don't see any problem with you getting a job. The problem I'm feeling,
this particular one.
Yeah, the problem I feel is that you want a job, but you don't want a job. So my feeling is that make sure. So I'm feeling that right now, just be sure that you're checking your paper and making a list of those job applications that you need to make. And then I was just giving you a little exercise to do is all.
Okay, well, thank you.
You're welcome. And I would say stay away from, do you have a son or someone around you that's been full of attitude?
Yeah.
Because it says try not to feed into that. There's a sense that somebody's arrogance is really starting to upset you or starting to aggravate you. And it says be aware that if you are trying to take care of others or trying to relate to someone who is talking you down, making you feel bad, please do try not to allow yourself to feed into that, and instead just try to focus on positive things and getting that job, and don't worry about the rest. Okay.
Okay.
All right, where are you? I keep hearing this knock. Are you someone knocking on your door or what?
I'm driving.
Oh, okay. Well, honey, I'd say that you may need a new car because it sounds like it's knocking. Okay.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thanks, Jan. Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
All right. So I am going to take Anita, and then I'm going to play a little bit of music, and we're going to go back into that radical acceptance again. So Anita, I feel, is very much into the need of radical acceptance. Hello, Anita. How are you?
Hi, Ann Marie. I am seeing things through different eyes that I have seen before, but I am
Wonderful.
I've actually really looking at the last 6 to 8 months of my life and what's happened, and I don't know where to start fresh. Here in Arizona with doctors, it's just, I almost like you said, it's the person who you just read for, it's like the fear, the fear of, because of everything of that's happened in the past. It's like the replay no matter where I go, and it's like the same thing, but it's been happening for so many years that I really don't know how to do the vision thing of where to go next. I feel like I've been wrapped up with that, what other people have been wanting me to do instead of what exactly needs to be done, and that I've lost a lot of time.
Right. Well, my feeling is that one of the things, like I said, you have gotten to the point where you're starting to find yourself getting caught into the worst case scenario, doom and glooms. And in life, if bad things happen, well, then the process of learning to accept those negative things that are seemingly unchangeable is when you use radical acceptance, right? And the radical acceptance is just being able to remove yourself from your own emotions, because your own emotions are really starting to get you down. And the bad things that are happening, that happen to the best of people, right? They happen to everyone. For you, for some reason, you find yourself moving from place to place to place, to doctor to doctor to doctor, and it's getting to be a whirlwind of this frustration for you. So like I said, it's time to learn to accept that the negative things that are happening to you in Arizona that seemingly are unchangeable, it's time for you to learn to use radical acceptance. And I understand that that's easy to say, but a part of what I'm talking about is just being able to embrace your healing process, and being able to understand that part of what's going on in your mind is so painful that I think it's kind of gotten to where your body is dumping the pain that is inside your heart and soul onto your body. I understand that you also have pain going into your hip. But here's what you do. You find a quiet place and you sit or lie down with your eyes closed. Then you take a few deep breaths and just kind of observe your emotions and the uncomfortable physical responses you may be having. And visualize yourself as another person observing and watching this sounds weird, but watching your pain. Instead of feeling the pain yourself, get out of yourself and get into another body so that you're removed from the pain. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So you're not going to sit there and absorb your pain and go, God, I hurt. Instead, you're going to imagine that you are outside your body as someone else, visualizing yourself. And this will keep you at a distance from your own pain and the pain of your emotions. It's the ability to separate your feelings and so that you can accept the things that are coming your way without fighting them. Because I believe that when you're in pain, you're fighting yourself, right? And when you're feeling pain in your emotions, you're fighting yourself. And the last thing you want is just like me or anybody telling you how to live your life. I get it. But acceptance takes practice and time, and you just have to realize that, if you spent like over 30 years feeling pain or in your heart or in your body, and now it's going to your body, and you can't change the way you are overnight, but you can change to not allow yourself to dwell on your emotional pain to the level where your poor heart and soul cannot handle it anymore and dump it on your body. And again, I get it that your hip hurts. And I get it that you are experiencing physical pain, but I truly do feel that what's happening is that your mind and heart and soul are combined, and it's beginning to be a heavy load for it, and those things, and it just wants to dump it on your body because the body and your mind are connected. And you're saying that you see your past life. Can I ask, how long have you been dealing with emotional pain?
Oh, I don't know. I think it was more or less right after, well, I was like, there's been ups and downs, but it wasn't really until after the accident of 2008 when I got injured by the bread carrier, and that it fell on top of me and everything, and that I actually couldn't move my legs and my arms. And then
I get that.
But now I'm going back. Since I am in Arizona, I don't know if there's anything legal I can still do about this or not, or even get back on workman's comp, or if the doctors I've been going to and things like that. I've been waiting month after month. Different doctors have been telling me they're going to order different things, and then I wait, and then all of a sudden they change their mind and they're going to start with the conservative to see if that's going to help first. And I've already done the conservative things. And it's like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm starting at step one when I probably, but I need, I almost want to start with a fresh, brand new doctor and say I need a pain specialist, I need a doctor, I need to get a couple tests, and then while I'm doing that, then get myself into some positive emotions and, put some things in place, and whether it's going to be here or go back to Michigan, but there's going to have to be some times of some happiness and love in my life and some more support beside myself, because I've been putting it into areas where it wasn't working. and the doctor
Yeah.
quit. And I found out today that they don't even have paperwork that after I left where I could call, and I thought they were, when I said when I left the appointments, do you have anything like a file that shows a summary report? And they said, no, we don't do those. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So
Yeah.
I totally need to start fresh.
Well,
and I don't know.
I thought you were going to counseling as well.
I am actually the one doctor.
Why
said,
are you going to? And your doctor said what?
I went. I was seeing a psychologist, and then actually he put some things out there that that he. They put things out there that they're going to get a certain doctor that to be able to help and stuff like that. And I wait and things don't follow through. And then the one neuropsychologist said, well, I think that you need to really get a case manager, because I was waiting for my primary doctor to get me a patient advocate to help me with the paperwork.
Okay, now we're okay, hold on. We're getting...
Right, he said he wanted me to be a case manager for mental illness. And then my chiropractor said, no, wait, don't do that. And he says, but you don't have any pain. You don't have anything wrong with your body. And I'm thinking, are you telling me how these reports are, and the surgery that I'm supposed to have done is, not real? And, I had so many doctors in Michigan, and actually I sent the paperwork here, but I got off track emotionally when I got here after the first couple months. I have read
for you a long time, and you've been upset, frustrated, and in anxiety for years.
And I don't know if some of it has to do with Danny, because I had goals, and said he said he'd help me along through this stuff. And that was never true. He helped me, by telling me what to do and things like that. But it was like, I already had goals of what I was going to do, but and that angers me. It's like, it doesn't anger me now. It's just like, where do I need to go? I can't trust this person because he's...
You start from the beginning. You go back home. Go back home. Go back home. Give up on Arizona. You're not getting anywhere then. Go back to your parents. You're not getting anywhere in Arizona. You're going in circles and circles and circles and circles. Start over. Go back to the beginning. That's all I can tell you, sweetheart, because right now you're going from place to place with the same frustrations wherever you go. So I tried to give you some information on radical acceptance. I think maybe you didn't digest that, but I understand that you have pain. And I understand that doctors aren't listening, but I'm very, very sad for that for you. Go back home. Okay. Start over.
Okay.
Go back home.
Yeah, I'll listen back to the radical and
okay.
Yeah, I'm just doing a lot of processing today that I need to start moving forward in another direction.
I get it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I guess it's not that the doctor's not doing anything. I'm just in fear.
Yes, and I'll let you go now, and good talk to you. Bye-bye.
Right.
All right, so what is radical acceptance again? People often say, I can't stand this. This isn't fair. This can't be true, and this shouldn't be this way. It's almost as if we think refusing to accept the truth will keep it from being true, or that accepting means agreeing. Accepting doesn't mean agreeing. It's exhausting to fight reality, and it doesn't work. Refusing to accept that you were fired or for something you didn't do, or that as Anita has a problem with her life with doctors, or that a friend cheated you, or that you weren't accepted at a college you wanted to attend, or your favorite president doesn't get elected, so why go on? Accepting reality is difficult when life is painful. No one wants to experience pain, disappointment, sadness, or loss. But those experiences are a part of life. And when you attempt to avoid or resist those emotions, you add suffering to your pain. You may build the emotion bigger with your thoughts, or maybe it dumps on your body as physical pain, or you create more misery by attempting to avoid gambling, drinking too much, overspending, eating too little, internet shopping, and overworking, as well as bearing pain in your body which you cannot understand why you can find no relief. These behaviors may help avoid pain in the short run, but they only make a situation worse in the long run. Acceptance means that you can turn your resistant, rerun thoughts into accepting thoughts like, I'm in this situation. I don't like it. I don't approve of it. I don't think it's okay. But it is what it is, and I can't change that it happened. Okay? So again, what is the radical thought that you're going to have when you're having all these problems and you're avoiding your emotional pain and it's going in other outlets? You say again, I'm in this situation. I don't approve of it. I don't think it's okay. But it is what it is, and I can't change that it happened. Imagine that you are late for an important job interview. Traffic is especially congested, and you are stopped at a stoplight after stoplight. Raging at the traffic lights or the drivers in front of you will not help you get to where you want to go faster, and it will only add to your upset. But accepting the situation and doing the best you can will be less emotionally painful to you and likely more effective. With a radical acceptance, you will arrive at your interview less distressed and perhaps better able to get the job when you stop allowing the pain, anger, and bitterness to get to you. Radical acceptance requires practice. Radical acceptance is a skill that requires practice every day. Practicing accepting that traffic is heavy. Practicing accepting that it's raining on the day you want to go to the beach. Or that your friend cancels when you had plans to spend the day together, are important for coping well and living a more contented life. When you practice acceptance, you are still disappointed, sad, and perhaps fearful in certain situations. But you don't add the pain of non-acceptance to those emotions and make the situation worse. Practicing acceptance in these situations also helps you prepare for acceptance in the really difficult circumstances. Everyone experiences losing someone that they love. The death of a parent, a child, a spouse, or a dear friend is particularly difficult. Your first reaction may be to say something like, no, it can't be, even though you know it's true. So reasons that, so practicing all of this is helpful for you, and the big stuff that's inevitably going to happen. Life gives a lot of opportunities to practice, believe me. And if you have a problem that you can solve, then it is the first option, of course. But if you can't solve it, but can change your perception and reaction to it, then do that. If you can't solve it or change your perception of an issue, then practice radical acceptance. Begin by focusing on your breath and just notice thoughts that you might have, such as the situation isn't fair or you can't stand what happened. Just let those thoughts pass. Give yourself an accepting statement, such as, it is what it is, and practice over and over again. Acceptance often requires many, many repetitions. And as I said, there is hypnotherapy that I use for that, and it's often the one where I told you that imagine that, let's say you're on a journey to see, take back things from a boyfriend's house or a girlfriend's house that are yours, and you've broken up, and it's like, oh God, I don't want to go through this. Imagine in your head that you're getting out of bed in the morning, you're getting dressed, you're going in your car, you're going to the drive there, or the whatever journey there, and then you see yourself in a fast motion, zoop, zoop, through the situation, out of the situation, getting back in the car, going back home, and nice, safe, and sound in your house. Do that over and over and over. You know, there are so many rough situations out there. I get it. And I go through them too. But I think in the last 2 shows, I've been offering you ways to be able to accept the tornado crisis in your lives. And I know my life as a single mom for 17 years at least, and working in a packing house to exist. And being able to also find time to lighten up and be a musician or do the things I love, especially reading for people at coffee houses. I found a way to deal with my crisis. Life has not been easy for me. I have seen the streets. I have seen divorce. I've seen single momhood. I've gone through bad relationships. And I found that when I accepted things, it all of a sudden made things happen better for me. I stopped swimming in the pain. So when you stop swimming in the pain and accept things for what they are and go with the flow, take it from me, things can turn around unexpectedly, really quickly. And maybe it won't happen now. It's like when so many people say, when will I find love? I was listening to a show today, and I think somebody said, can you tell me where somebody's going to be coming from, what state, what part of the world, or where have I met them? Do I know them? Well, first of all, understand, love never happens when you're looking for it. And if you want to terrify somebody that you're going out with for the first time, get that glittery look of expectation in your eyes, and you will watch that person whip out the napkin from their collar and run down the road. You have to realize the best time to look for love is when you are centered in radical acceptance of your situation, and not in a, oh God, what am I going to do? I need someone to help make this better. No, you don't. Because when you think that you have to have somebody to make your life better, or when you think that you're so desperate for love that every day begins to feel like it's looking at the clock at the cafeteria workstation, and it's going tick, tick, tick. You're concentrating on it to the point where you're manifesting from the universe, who isn't trying to keep love from you, but they're seeing that you're dwelling all this time and energy into the bad stuff and into the sadness and into the sorrow, and it's going to give you more and more of it. So all I can say is practice radical acceptance. Now, it is Halloween, guys, right? And one of the things that I wanted to talk about also was a really cute way to make chicken wire ghosts for your yard. Chicken wire is the perfect medium for making a life-size ghost to haunt your yard this Halloween. By bending the wire around different forms, you can make a human-shaped ghost appear as if it's floating across the lawn. This technique requires quite a bit of trial and error, but with a little patience and time, you'll find that it gets easier and easier. So, the most important thing to remember is you want to have about 36 by 25 foot of chicken wire, size 1/2 inch, a heavy duty wire clippers, leather garden gloves, a foam head form, female, or something that's of that nature, needle nose pliers, measuring tape, 1 inch of painter's tape, and a baseball bat, child or adult size. Now, that is not to hit anyone that tries to get in your way. The first step that you're going to do is to cut the chicken wire into a square. And you begin this by making the head. Start by opening and unraveling the chicken wire and unrolling it. And then when you open the package, you'll have to remove a long, thin wire wrapped around the roll. Set this wire aside to use later in the project. And then once again, use wire clippers to clip a 36 by 36 inch square from the roll of chicken wire you have, right? So now we're going to go into step 2. Center the 36-inch square over the foam head, like a mannequin head or one of those foam mannequin heads you can find at a jewelry shop or something like that. And bunch and pinch the wire so it gathers at the sides of the head until it is tight over the face and the back of the neck. Then shape the front and the back so it fits snugly over the chin and neck. Okay, that's step 2. Step 3, use the wire clippers to remove the excess bunched wire from one side of the head, clip along the outside edge of the blue tape, and the blue tape is to give you a kind of a guide as to where to clip. So it's not necessary to put blue tape on your form, only clip one side before beginning the next step. And what is the next step? And we're running out of time here. If I run out of time, please know that I will have this on my blog and you can be able to find the directions there. Put on the leather gloves, use a needle nose pliers to reattach the wires along the cut side of the head and begin at the base of the neck and move up, wrapping the loose wires around the solid hexes. Keep the clippers handy in case more wire needs to be removed for a tighter fit. Reattach the wire all the way to the top of the head until the last wires are looped and secure, and then attach it along the shoulders. Okay, now I'm going to stop here. Again, there will be a picture diagram of how to make a chicken wire ghosts that look like they're floating across your yard on the blog. I'm going to add that right after the show. And please do take a look at it, and all the diagrams and the instructions will be there. And please remember, if it gets aggravating, remember you're going to have to practice radical acceptance that this is going to work for you. You know it can work for you. And for those of you that have been with me, thank you. And anyone wishing to have a reading with 37 years reading experience, I am with Best Psychics Directory, Keen, and Jennifer Diamond's Top 50 Psychics. It's in a book. I am listed with that book. You can contact me for a personal reading at thecallingoflight.com. Thecallingoflight.com. Go to the store, get yourself a huge spider plant, or go and get a baby spider plant off a friend and root it and maybe start bunches of them all over your house. Remember, house plants take the toxins out of the air in the winter when we can't open the windows. I have all the confidence in the world that you will find the same fetish for your house plants. And do remember, if you have a hard time keeping house plants alive, you can go to the internet at eBay and get a aqua water ball. Aqua water ball is a big ball. Fill it with water, stick it in the dirt, and the plant will feed itself with water when it gets thirsty. You'll have a beautiful, thriving plant. Check the bottom often to make sure it's not plugged. I promise you, I have 25 water balls, and my plants feed themselves. Thank you for coming with me today, and you take care, and we'll be back again next week. Bye.
Hi, I'm Ann Marie Oct at Achieve Radio's Tarot Joy. Come on upstairs. Grab yourself a tapestried pillow and get a down-home, honest reading with 30 years Master Tarot channeling experience. In addition, I will have a weekly spiritual guest from around the world. That's 2 readings per call for you. After the show, I invite you to come on over to thecallingoflight.com. I offer PayPal readings at 15-minute or 30-minute sections of time. All yours. To thecallingoflight.com.